Welcome back to 55 Degrees North and to episode 34 of your fortnightly construction and restoration update. Coming up in this week's video, we'll be visiting all your favourite project sites, including Pottery Lane, Pilgrim Place and more. Plus I've got exciting news about a massive new development on the banks of the River Tyne that you won't want to miss, so make sure you stick around. And without further ado, let's dive right in. Starting here again this week at the site of the former General Hospital, where demolition is continuing to make way for the brand new Health and Innovation neighbourhood. Starting across the back of the site, you can see that a lot more of the area has now been levelled with crushed material, getting everything ready for the first stages of construction to begin. Moving around, demolition of the old hospital buildings is still very much in progress. Crews are steadily working their way through section by section. Towards the front of the site, not much has changed compared to the last update, but if we turn back around, you'll notice that the building we saw partially knocked down in the previous video has been completely demolished. The rubble is being sorted and placed into large skips ready for recycling. Now over to the main hospital block. You can see a lot more windows have been removed from the upper floors. It looks like it won't be long before demolition of the central structure begins. Finally, take a look at the huge piles of crushed material across the site. Some of it will be taken away, while the rest is being used here for levelling up the groundwork. A lot of progress is being made each week, and we'll keep bringing you updates as the transformation continues. Now moving down to Castle Leazes, where we're going to give you a quick update on the Students' Village. As of this week, the shoring up of the areas across the site is now complete, and everything has been set at the correct levels for the piling platform. That means the groundwork is in place and ready to go. Most of the heavy mechanical plant equipment has now been removed, and by the time you see this video, all the site operatives will have left as well. From early September, only site staff will remain on location while we wait for the final go-ahead on the scheme. The design of Phase 1 is still being signed off, so until that happens, work is officially paused. So this will actually be my last visit here until construction starts. But don't worry, as soon as the building phase begins, I'll be back to cover all the progress. In the meantime, I'll drop in with updates now and again if there's any movement to report. Heading once again down to Leazes Park Road to take a fresh look at the new students' accommodation that's been built here. It's been just about 2 weeks since our last update, but even in that short time there have been some notable changes and the building is really starting to take shape. Standing from across the road, you get a really clear view of the progress. The structure is rising quickly, and since the last time I was here, you can see that one extra floor has already been added. At this rate, it won't be long before the full height of the building is reached. Now if you move round to the back of the site, the scale becomes even clearer. From here, you get a better look at how far the floors have risen up the core lift shafts. You can imagine where the roofline is going to be once the final floors are added. It gives a real sense of how dominant the building will be in the local area once it's complete. Looking back round the front, another major detail stands out. The window frames along the bottom floors. You can see many more of them now installed, which immediately gives the building more definition. It's no longer just concrete and steel. Something else worth pointing out, the remains of the former tenant who used to occupy the site, with the sign still remaining in place. And now for another quick update from Strawberry Place beside the metro station, where they're going to be installing the new advertisement boards. Unfortunately again this week, no real progress has been made on the actual construction side of things. The good news though, there's been some movement. New bollards have been fitted all along the pavement, which is at least a small step forward. We are now down at the site of the brand new apartment blocks on Pottery Lane. We're starting off up here on the Redgate Bridge to get a view right across the development. From up here, it might not look like much has changed, But let's head in for a closer look. As we look along the side elevation, you can see more of the brickwork has been completed since our last visit. And if you look closely at the upper floors, there's a notable change in brick colour, showing some nice contrast as the design starts to take shape. Now, we're down on Pottery Lane, taking a closer look at what's happening at ground level. Over at Building 1, things are looking pretty similar to our last update. On the inside you can see plenty of construction materials ready and waiting to be used, and out at the front of the block it's pretty much the same story, stacks of supplies lined up for the next phase of work. Moving across to Block 2, you'll notice more of the brickwork has been pushed along towards the centre of the building, and again, just like with Block 1, there's no shortage of materials waiting to be put into place. So while the progress may not look dramatic at first glance, the details tell the story, brickwork moving steadily forward and the site getting stocked up for the next big push. And now for another update from Collier Square, where the Pilgrim Place development for the 2 new office blocks are rising fast. Every time we come here, the amount of progress in just 2 weeks is truly outstanding. Down at the bottom end of the site, you can clearly see the steel reinforcement in place, waiting for the concrete pour. This will complete yet another floor on the 3rd core lift shaft. The support pillars we looked at in our last video are now all complete, making another big step forward. Moving a little further up, it looks like we're getting a first view of what could be the entrance to another underground car park. From here, you can also see the steelwork now stretching between core lift shafts 2 and 3, with steel sheeting ready to be laid out, forming the base for the new floors. And around the back end of the site, the scale of the progress really shows. The steelwork on the 1st core lift shaft has now risen considerably, with the middle section almost reaching the top of the shaft. Lying nearby, you can also spot steel girders waiting to be lifted into position. So as you can see, the Pilgrim Place development is moving at an impressive pace. With every visit, the site continues to transform, and it won't be long before these structures really start to take shape. So we're now checking on the final push towards completion of the brand new His Majesty's Revenue and Customs building. And a lot has changed recently, and there's plenty happening all the way around the site. So let's take a walk and see what's new. Starting over here on Market Street, you'll see pavement works continuing right round the outside of the building. And take a look at those big black bollards. They've been installed for security, as this is a government building. They're designed to prevent vehicle-based attacks, and they're definitely hard to miss. Moving around to the John Dobson Street side, and we've got more pavement works underway, and another set of black bollards being fitted at the bottom of the stairs. Just a little further up, you'll notice the paving here is already complete. Now, it's a bit of a shame about this old brick building right next to it. It doesn't quite blend in with the shiny new development, but actually it's a ventilation shaft for the metro system below, so unfortunately it's here to stay. Over on New Bridge Street, the paving work is still ongoing. The original black fence on the corner is visible again now that the area has been cleared. And above the doors, yeah, you can see what looks like sign frames going in. These are set to be for the new shops, restaurants and even a bank that will be opening underneath the HMRC offices. So it won't just be an office building, the whole area is getting a boost. And finally, heading round to Pilgrim Street, it's more of the same here. Fresh paving being laid down, and yes, more black bollards being installed along the front. So that's the latest look at the HMRC building as it edges closer to completion. From new paving and security measures to up and coming shops and restaurants, the whole site is really starting to come together. We are now up at the site of the brand new North East Space Skills and Technology Centre on Ellison Place, which is being built for Northumberland University. Looking across from here, you can really start to get a feel of just how big the building's final footprint is going to be. It's definitely taking shape. Down at the bottom end of the site, you can see more breeze block walls going up on the lower floors. Plenty of progress since our last visit. Oh, and look at this. someone's put together what looks like a scarecrow, or maybe even a guy, for Guy Fawkes Night. A bit early for that though, isn't it? Up at the top end, there's a stockpile of materials all lined up, ready to be installed, so clearly lots more work planned here in the coming weeks. And over the other side, things look pretty much the same as they did a couple of weeks ago. Still plenty of green sheeting covering most of this side of this building, keeping everything under wraps while work continues inside. So that's the latest look around the site. Progress is steady, and it's exciting to see this new centre take shape piece by piece. At the beginning of today's video, I mentioned an exciting new project that could be about to get going, and trust me, this one's huge. A former goods yard here in Newcastle is set to become the site of up to 5,000 brand new homes after receiving backing from the government. The area we're talking about is Fourth Yard, and actually the largest of 4 government-owned brownfield sites chosen for major redevelopment as part of the scheme to fast-track house building. Now, Fourth Yard is massive, covering around 100 acres, that's about 40.5 hectares, sitting right by the River Tyne, and this isn't just any patch of land, it includes some really key sites such as Fourth Goods Yards, Pottery Lane East and West, Quayside West, and the Newcastle Utility Arena, and even the Newcastle Heliport. The framework for how this area could be developed was actually published back in 2020 by Newcastle City Council. That document outlined just how much potential this land has to transform a huge section of the quayside into a vibrant new community. Now moving on to some of the other projects that's going on around the city. As usual, we start on Northumberland Street, where the pavement improvement works are still ongoing, and yep, the street is still a complete mess. Looking down, at least you can start to see a bit of a pattern development in the new paving. But looking up the street, pretty much the same as previous weeks, just lots of fresh concrete being poured. Moving down to Pilgrim Street, work outside the brand new Gotham Hotel is still dragging on. Crews are finishing up the paving and roadworks here. Now, the hotel was originally due to open in September, but honestly, looking at the current state, it's hard to see them hitting that deadline. Next up is the city's second stag venue, and well, still no sign of completion. The place was actually supposed to open back in May this year, but judging by how things look right now, we're still waiting. And finally, the infamous cycle lane at the bottom of Pilgrim Street. Nearly 2 years since it started, and it's still not finished. It makes you wonder if it will ever get completed. So that's it for this week's construction and restoration update here on 55 Degrees North. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below and let me know what you think about the projects happening around the city right now. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a massive thumbs up, as it really helps the channel grow, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification so you don't miss future updates. A huge thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time right here on 55 Degrees North.